Sovereign brothers and sisters, we warmly welcome you to our third session in our series of meditation workshops hosted by the Region 1 Youth. Before we proceed, we will go over a few house rules. Please keep your microphones on mute at all times unless asking a question. Tonight's session will focus on the power of sound and Jyoti meditation. There will be opportunities to ask questions during the session. We have also posted a link to a short feedback form in the chat box. We would greatly appreciate if you fill this out at the end of the session.
Saram, dear brothers and sisters, we are very fortunate to have Uncle Chun again, leading another meditation workshop. As we all know Uncle Chun, I'm sure he needs no introduction. However, for those who are new today, I would like to read a short biography and his work in the Sati Sai International Organization. Dr. Chun is a retired dentist by profession. Chun Uncle, as we all know him, has been involved with the Sai organization for 30 years and has held many roles in the organization, which includes Center Spiritual Coordinator and Regional Spiritual Coordinator. He has been an SSC teacher and was involved with writing and organizing SSC plays. He has always had an interest in conducting study circles and also spiritual talks on various forms of meditation. More recently, he has been involved with the regional meditation workshops conducted by the UK Sai organization. With further ado, I would now like to pass it on to Uncle Chun.
My most humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami. Welcome to this Zoom session. I am glad you could make it because today we're going to discuss a very important topic, the power of sound. Sound is used in hospitals to create images of the fetus in the mother's womb. It is also used to map out organs in the human body. Sound is also used as a tool for healing. The erratic heartbeat of a premature baby settles down to the singing of its mother. Sound as music is also used to help the sick, the comatose, and the terminally ill. But today, we are going to discuss a special purpose of sound, how sound could be used to bring about our spiritual evolution. Let's go on to some scientific facts. The scientific world is beginning to discover what the spiritual teachers knew for centuries, that our physical world is not composed of any matter at all. Its basic component is an essence of force that we call energy. My mother knew this all along. That is why every time I stepped out of line, she said, "What on earth is the matter?" Things appear solid and separate to our physical senses, but at the atomic and subatomic levels, the physical matter is seen as particles within particles, such as quarks and leptons. And now they talk about the minutest of all particles, the Higgs boson, discovered using a massive atom blaster called the Hadron Collider. One startling discovery made by the quantum physicist is that if you divide matter into smaller and smaller parts, it ceases to behave like an object. The electron, as we know it, exists as a particle as well as a wave. It only exists as a particle when it's being observed. Let's take the case of the atom. The atom structure has a nucleus composed of protons and neutrons, and the electrons revolving around it. Between these particles, there's nothing but empty space. According to the scientists, 99.99% of the atom is just empty space. The universe, therefore, is just empty space. We are literally all energy. Everything within and around us is energy. We are all part of one vast energy field. That brings us back to the power of sounds. A good place to start is silence. Only in the depths of silence can the voice of God be heard. Swami speaks so softly and sweetly so that anyone around him has to bend down and get close to him to listen to him. A disciple in an ashram kept on pestering his guru to reveal the secret of life. Not a word passed from the lips of the guru. Years passed, and the disciple approached the guru once more and said, "Revered master, I have been serving you for years, but you have yet to reveal the secret of life." At last, the guru broke the silence and spoke to him. He said, "My dear son, I have been instructing you right along, only you did not listen. What you're after is so sacred that it can be revealed only through silence." So what is the nature of this silence? How is it possible to listen to it? What is there to listen? And is silence also a form of sound? Sound of silence is the cosmic sound. It is not audible to the everyday ears or our senses. It can only be perceived in the depths of meditation at the superconscious state. It is called Om because that is exactly how it sounds. Om is comprised of three parts: Akara, Ukara, and Makara. Akara, Om, represents the waking stage or Jagrat, which I'm sure most of you at least are right now in. And Ukara represents the dream sleep state, and Makara represents the deep dreamless sleep. This is followed by a silent phase. Swami says the recitation of Om should peter out into silence. It is the Ashabda or soundless state. It is also called the Amatra Om. When the Om rings in your ears, when you have finished chanting and the lips have closed, this takes you beyond the deep dreamless sleep or Sushupti. It is the Turiya stage or the fourth stage, the stage of pure consciousness. We discussed this in detail in the first workshop as the profound dialogue between Ashtavakra Muni and Janaka Maharaja. Om is also called the primordial sound because it began at the start of creation, and that vibration is still going on. It is also called pranava because it runs through prana or life. It pervades and permeates all of life. When you chant Om, you create within yourself the vibration that resonates with the cosmic sound, so that during that time, you're in tune with the divine. Let's look at another aspect of the power of sound. It's the mantra yoga. It's the spiritual evolution through the practice of japa. Japa is constant chanting of the name of the Lord or a mantra. It is not the domain of just the Hindus. The Catholics have their rosaries and the Muslims have their tasbih. If you have noticed in the airports, you'll see some of the Muslims having their hand in a little bag and they're rotating their beads and they are chanting their own japa. There are great Sufis like Rumi, who was a poet and a philosopher. He has sent so many messages. One of them is that I want to sell my tongue and buy 1,000 years. And also another one is, when did you last visit yourself? Because the scientists are venturing out everywhere into the outer space in search of all the remote planets. But according to Swami, the only reason that you have taken birth is to realize your inherent divinity. So instead of going inwards, they are wasting billions of dollars going outwards. The basic doctrine underlying mantra yoga is that this tangible universe is made up of only different kinds of vibrations and energies working at different levels. According to Einstein's formula, E equals mc squared, matter and energy are interconvertible. Sages in their supernormal state also discovered that even the intangible elements such as emotions and thoughts also have a material basis, using the word material in the widest sense. Yogis have also found that all these vibrations are interconnected and could be traced to one fundamental vibration, like the branches of a tree to a trunk. And that vibration is called the Sabda Brahman or Nada Brahman. Another fact to grasp regarding mantra yoga is that vibration is the basis of forms. All forms that you see around you can be created by vibration and can be changed by vibration. This can be understood by looking at Chladni figures. Florence Chladni was a very famous German physicist and musician. He did an experiment by strewing sand or salt on very dark plates and drawing the bow of his violin on the plate, at the edge of the plate, and with different pressures to create different notes. All the particles were agitated and they formed beautiful figures like the one you see on the screen. Vibration is not only the basis of forms, it is also necessary for the manifestation of consciousness. This can be understood by studying the mechanism of sensation, how the external world is cognized by the indwelling consciousness through the instrumentation of your sense organs, light vibrations producing visual sensation and sound vibrations producing hearing. Back to mantra yoga. If vibrations are related to form and consciousness, through its agency, we can bring about certain natural phenomena and also changes in our consciousness. Mantra yoga uses powers hidden in combinations of sounds which is utilized to unfold our human consciousness. Japa harmonizes and purifies the courses so as to make it possible to reach the deeper layers of our consciousness. Now, just to recap our memory of what we studied in the Balavikas, I'm going to talk about the different koshas. First of all, Annamaya kosha or food sheath, that deals purely with the physical matter. Then Pranamaya kosha or vital air sheath, which deals with 5 functions: breathing, assimilation, generation, excretion, and locomotion. Manomaya kosha is the mental sheath, which deals with the faculty of mentation. Vijnanamaya kosha is the sheath of the intellect, which deals with the intellectual reasoning and scientific or philosophic thinking. Anandamaya kosha is the causal sheath. It stores the karmic seeds, as well as it's a state of profound peace during the deep, dreamless sleep. It's made of sattva guna, and it's in close proximity to the Atma. According to Swami, Annamaya kosha relates to the physical body. Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, and Vijnanamaya kosha forms the astral body, and Anandamaya kosha, the causal body. The eternal consciousness of the Supreme is present everywhere, beating at all times on the walls of our minds. It is our non-receptivity which prevents us from bringing it down to our levels of consciousness. We are like radio sets bathed in a sea of electromagnetic waves. Our radio sets, either of a poor quality or it is not fine-tuned, and therefore we are unable to perceive vibrations of a higher nature. What mantra yoga does is to harmonize and purify these koshas so that we'll be more perceptive to vibrations of a higher nature. Mantras are constructed by arranging letters of the Sanskrit alphabet in various permutations and combinations with emphasis on correct pronunciation. Correct pronunciation is extremely important because it can have just the opposite meaning. Let me come out with an anecdote I heard recently. A CEO of a great business empire in India was sent on a business trip to a faraway place for weeks on end. He missed his wife so much, he sent a message saying, "Wish you were here." The next minute, he heard his wife screaming on the phone. When he checked his phone, he has made one little mistake. His message read, "Wish you were her." If you take Gayatri mantra, Om Bhur-Bhuvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. But if you say Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat, which I have heard in certain places, that means you do not want any of the effulgence or illumination. Therefore, mantras could be constructed only by a person who knows the subtler properties of the sounds of each alphabet of the Sanskrit language, and also the properties of the various permutations and combinations of those alphabets. Because the properties of the various permutations and combinations is just not the sum of the properties of the individual alphabets. Just take your English language. The same three letters can form different words. ACT is act, CAT is cat. Carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen are basic elements found in most of the organic compounds which we consume in our daily diet. But a particular combination of these three elements, HCN, my dear children, is not something you would have with your Weetabix because it is hydrocyanic acid, which is a deadly poison. So only great sages and saints, before whose inner vision the subtler planes of the solar system lies like an open book, can construct mantras and pass it on to people like us who immensely benefit by using them. Why was Sanskrit chosen as the preferred language in the construction of mantra? Panini is the founder of the Sanskrit language. During his younger days, his education didn't go very well at all. He was one of the last row students. His guru just used him like an errand boy. Disgruntled and dissatisfied, Panini started wandering around till he met an old sadhu who said, if you are seeking true knowledge, the Lord of all knowledge resides up north in the Himalayas. So Panini started walking miles and miles for days and days and ultimately reached the Himalayas. And he sat in front of a beautiful lake and started meditating. After years of meditating, suddenly Lord Shiva gave a vision of himself as Shiva Nadaraja. And asked him what boon he wanted. Panini asked him to bestow the knowledge in the language. Shiva immediately danced in ecstasy, playing his damaru, and Panini heard 14 sounds coming out of those damaru. To him, that meant the 14 cardinal sutras of grammar, on which he based his famous work, Ashtadhyayi, and thus evolved the Sanskrit language. If Sanskrit alphabets came from the Damaru of Shiva, that should let you know how powerful they are. Therefore, it's no surprise that the mantras constructed out of these alphabets are also extremely powerful. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita said, among the yagnas, I am the Japa yagna. The purpose of yagna is to create desirelessness and also aid in us reaching enlightenment. There are two forms of japa, the vachika or oral japa and manasika or mental japa. If the mantra is chanted loudly within the hearing of everyone, that's called oral or vachika japa. But if it is chanted so that only the person who chants can hear it with the movement of his lips, it's called upamshu japa. Meditating on the spirit of the mantra, also focusing on the meaning of the sacred words, with no lip movement at all, is called manasika japa or mental japa. Manu, the son of Prajapati and Shatrupa, declared that vachika japa or oral japa is 10 times more powerful than ritual sacrifice, whereas upamshu japa is 100 times more powerful than ritual sacrifice, whereas mental japa is 1,000 times more powerful than ritual sacrifice. For a beginner, mental japa is very difficult. Only those who have, or whose mind is very tranquil and filled with sattva guna succeed in the mental japa. Linga Purana states that chanting the mental japa sitting on the shores of a holy river is extremely powerful, and we shall have a chance of getting a taste of that in a minute by looking at a beautiful picture. So, Manasik Japa can be chanted at different levels. First of all, listening only to the sounds of the words, and then by listening, pondering upon the meaning of each word. And then in the third stage, the overall idea takes the place of the meanings of words, and you transcend the limitation of the language. Ultimately, you even transcend the overall idea and come into touch with the divinity or reality which underlies the mantra. This is seen from time to time. I am sure even Panini would have chanted Om Namah Shivaya for Lord Shiva to make his appearance in front of him. And you all know about the great sage Saint Tyagaraja, who under the instructions of his guru chanted the Nama Rama 960 million times before Pattabhirama gave him his vision in his Tula Sharira. History is replete with such incidences, and we have heard about it time and again. So let's now look at this beautiful picture of a Shivalinga and Trishula by the side of a beautiful river. We are going to use this to do mental japa in a minute. First of all, I want you to remember all the points we discussed about posture in meditation. If you're sitting on the floor, it is important to sit on at least 2 or 3 cushions. When it comes to posture, the most important point is to be absolutely upright as you comfortably can. If you're slouched and your spine is curved, that will impede the flow of subtle energy along the spine, which is so important in meditation, which we learned about this in the last workshop when we did mantra yoga. What do we do with our palms, with our hands? If you want to hold the chin mudra, it is okay, and you have to hold it at the end of the knee, slightly pointing downwards. Otherwise, you can just simply have one palm on top of the other, with the thumbs touching, resting on your lap. All breathing should be through the nose. We have already discussed this in the last workshop. It's because the Ida and the Pingala, the lateral channels along the spine, communicate with the nostrils before ending in the Agna chakra or the brow chakra in the region of your third eye. So it is very important that you sit very, very upright. And all breathing should be through the nostril, because the Ida and the Pingala communicate with your nostril before ending in your brow chakra. The next thing is your eyes should be closed at the beginning of any meditation. Your upper eyelids should be gently resting upon the lower eyelids. So first of all, we shall have a practice run. First, Keep looking at this beautiful image in front of you, the Shivalinga, the Trishula, and a beautiful river. And let's chant Om Namah Shivaya initially with a tune to get used to it. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah. You can chant with me all together. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah. 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 Okay, now let's try and get a taste of the mental japa. First of all, I want you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths to energize yourselves. Then let the natural rhythm of your breathing take over. Now gently open your eyes and look at the image of the Shivalinga and Trishula and the wonderful river in front of you. As long as you wish. Now gently close your eyes and try and recreate that image in the midpoint between your eyebrows, as though you're looking at it from a few inches inside your head. If the image wafts away, you can open your eyes and look at the image again and try and recreate that image at the midpoint between your eyebrows, as though you're looking at it from a couple of inches inside your head. Now, in your mind, you chant Om Namah Shivaya without any tune, just the one line Om Namah Shivaya, which will go like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. You chant in your mind. Now you can open your eyes and look at that image again. Close your eyes and try and recreate that image in the midpoint between your eyebrows, as though you're looking at it from a couple of inches within your head, and chant Om Namah Shivaya in your mind. If the image wafts away, you can open your eyes and look at the image again and recreate it. And still chant mentally Om Namah Shivaya. Take a deep breath and relax. In your homes, you still have this image. You can use that to get used to mental japa or manasika japa. Paramahamsa Yogananda gives a solution. First of all, screw tight your eyelids and open it and blink. I'm telling you what he said. And he also said, have a glass of water and take sips of it if you feel sleepy. But if you're too tired after work, it's okay to rest for a little while before you start meditating. And if you sit absolutely upright, if you nod off, it'll jerk you into wakefulness because you're totally upright. Those are the things that you can do to get rid of sleepiness during meditation. Before you start this meditation, if you just for a few minutes focus only on your breath, the breath going in and out of your nostrils, keep on focusing on that, you find that you'll be able to concentrate better. That's a well-known fact. And also treat your thoughts as though they don't belong to you. I know it's difficult. With practice, you get all this. After a while, it is also called witness consciousness. When you're driving your car on a rainy day and the windscreen wiper is whisking past your eyes repeatedly, if you focused on the windscreen wiper, you would not be listening to this workshop today. That is, you're treating the windscreen wipers as though you're just a witness, but focusing on the road. That is how you overcome the thoughts. Let it come and go. And also say to your mind, if you give me just 15 minutes to meditate, I'll let you think all what you want later on. These are the techniques to avoid the thoughts disturbing you during your meditation. Plus, you can also pray to God to help you focus on your meditation. Sri Krishna said, those who focus on me, through my grace, I will remove the thoughts that disturb them. So you can also pray to God by doing a little bit of japa. You know, meditation is not just doing only one thing. To start with, you can do some japa to get you in the frame of mind to sit down and meditate. So those are the things that you can do to get over your thoughts coming in the way. Let's unmute our mics and chant with me, Asatoma. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amridam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Lead me, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Lead me from darkness unto light. Darkness are the negative qualities that we possess. Darkness is also the ignorance that stops us from realizing our true identity. What serves as light for man is it's the sun. When the sun has set, what serves as light? It's the moon. When the moon is not there, what serves as light? It is the fire. When the fire is also not there, what serves as light? It is the sound. When the fire is also not there, what guides you around? It's the sound. Inquiring thus, man arrives at his true nature, the ever-effulgent, self-luminous Atma. What is the light that reveals your dream objects? It's the Atma Jyoti. Your Atma is Swayam Prakash, self-luminous. In Jyoti meditation, we use light from a source outside of us to bring into conscious awareness the light that is already within us. Jyoti meditation is one of the principal forms of meditations recommended by Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. In meditation, the end goal of meditation, we learned last time, is to become one with the object of your meditation in the state of samadhi. When you meditate upon the light, you become that light, and light is God. Swami says, set aside a few minutes every day for dhyana. And when you begin to enjoy the peace and tranquility it brings, you can extend the periods. He says, let it be the early hours of the morning before dawn, when your body is rested from sleep and the hustle and bustle of the daytime are yet to impinge on your senses and draw mental and physical energy. Swami says, use a bright little flame in a lamp or a candle. The lamp should be set below the level of your eyes so that you can look at it through half open eyes. A flame never diminishes in lustre, however many lamps you may light therefrom. Hence, it is the most appropriate symbol of the eternal absolute. So before we start Jyoti meditation, yet again, let me remind you of the posture. You have to be absolutely upright. And it is important, again, one of the practical things is not to try Jyoti meditation in a room where there's a draft. A flickering flame is not the right thing for Jyoti meditation. Make sure that the flame is steady and straight. Okay, your posture is very important. You have to be absolutely upright. And we can adapt all the other positions which we spoke about just a short while ago. Okay, let's first sit in the right posture, either on a chair or on the floor on a few cushions. Gently close your eyes so that the upper eyelid rests on the lower eyelid. Take a few deep breaths to energize yourselves. And now let the natural rhythm of your breathing take over. Swami says, all meditations should be performed on the natural rhythm of breathing. It can be a little bit calmer because you're meditating, but yet you should not be huffing and puffing. Pranayama is a totally different exercise. Now, gently open your eyes and look at the flame set in front of you as long as you wish. Try and absorb that image of serenity. Now, gently close your eyes and try and recreate that image of that flame in the midpoint between your eyebrows, as though you're looking at it from a few inches within your head. If the image wafts away, you can open your eyes and again look at the flame for a little while, then close your eyes and try and recreate the flame in the midpoint between your eyebrows. Now let the flame gently slide down to the lotus of your heart. Imagine this to be in the form of a lotus bud in the middle of your chest. With the warmth and light of this sacred flame falling upon this lotus bud, imagine that its petals open one by one. The flower wafts away, and all what is left is this sacred flame, which begins to grow brighter and bigger and begins to flow like liquid white light throughout your body. It flows and fills your head. Your head is charged with this light. It shines brightly. Say to yourselves, where there's light, darkness cannot survive. I would only think good thoughts. This beautiful liquid white light now flows and fills your tongue. Your tongue now shines brightly. Say to yourselves, I will only speak the truth. I will speak softly, sweetly, and lovingly. I will only speak well of others. This brilliant liquid white light now flows and fills both your eyes. They now shine brightly. Say to yourselves, my eyes are pure. They will only see good sights. This brilliant light now flows and fills your ears. They now shine brightly. Say to yourselves, my ears are pure, so they will listen only to good sounds like devotional music and useful words. This brilliant liquid white light now flows down both your arms, right down to your hands and your fingers. They now shine brightly. Think to yourselves, with these hands, I will lovingly serve everyone. This brilliant light now flows down both your legs, right up to your feet. They shine brightly. Now say to yourselves, I will walk to only good places and meet up with good people. The light within you now grows bigger and bigger and brighter and shines all around you. You are a beacon of light. Let it shine upon those who are very close to you, like your father, your mother, your brothers, sisters, and children. Let it also extend to your friends and relatives. See them all very happy and smiling in this divine light. Also take into its fold those with whom you quarreled, so that they too become your friends. Let this light now grow bigger and bigger, far and wide, till it envelops the whole of this planet. Let it shine upon all beings, men, women, and children, animals, and plants. Say to yourselves, let the world be filled with light. Let the world be filled with love. Let the world be filled with peace. Now let this light slowly retrace its path till it reaches the lotus of your heart in the middle of your chest. Let it remain there as long as you wish. That is the eternal flame of love. Now say to yourselves, I am the light, and the light is in me. I am the light, and the light is God. Now let's put our palms together, send all the energies that we have evoked, and our love and the message of peace to all the worlds by chanting Samasta Loka. So you chant with me. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. If you do this meditation diligently, there will come a time when you could no longer entertain any wicked or vicious thoughts, no longer crave for any toxic food or drinks, and no longer handle anything that is ugly and demeaning. Your thoughts, words, and deeds will be filled with love. You will then be in the realm of the divine. When you meditate on the light, first of all, you will feel that you are in the light. Then you begin to feel that the light is within you. Finally, you come to the realization that you are the light, illumining not only your path, but also the paths of those whose lives you touch. If you do Jyoti meditation every day, you can turn your home into a hermitage and rooting living into the root of liberation. Before we end this session and go into question time for a few minutes, let me also clear a doubt which was asked last time. And this devotee also messaged me to ask how to avoid negative thoughts. So I'm recapping what we did in the first meditation workshop. Here you can see thoughts and words and deeds are at the conscious level. They are of two types: Shreya, which is good, what is good for you, and prayer, what is pleasant for you. But you have the samskaras, which are the cumulative tendencies that we have brought forth through several births. And samskaras are also of two types: raga, which are likes, and dvesha, which are dislikes. Your samskaras have a profound influence on your thoughts, words, and deeds. That's one of the reasons that you're unable to avoid negative thoughts. With the next slide, I will show you how it is achieved. Before that, Shreya is what is good for you. Prayer is what is pleasant for you. Shreya means if I were to ask you to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and meditate or read Swami's literature or chant Japa and prayer, your duvet and your bed is the warm bed is inviting you. It is very difficult to resist, isn't it? Only if you, cut off prayer once and for all, that you can succeed in Shreya. Let's move to the next slide. This is what the great sage Patanjali said: Evam vritti samskara chakram. Vritti means thoughts. Samskara, as you know, we discussed just now, are the cumulative tendencies brought forward through several births. And samskaras are subconscious and you have no knowledge of it. But vritti or thoughts are conscious at the conscious level and you know about it. Where do thoughts come from, vritti? From the samskaras. And where do samskaras come from? From the vritti or thoughts. That's why it's called evam vritti, samskara chakram. If you replace negative thoughts with noble thoughts, what will sink down as samskara will also become positive or noble. It takes some time. And then the thoughts that arise from those samskaras will also be positive thoughts. But how do we achieve this? It is not easy to avoid all the negative thoughts, but one way of doing it is by the practice. You are getting God's help here by the practice of namasmaran, japa, swadhyaya, or reading of spiritual literature. And another main thing is the satsang, like what we are having right now. Swadhyaya is an important feature. Please do not go to bed before you sleep reading Women's Weekly or whatever men read as magazines. Make sure that you spend a few minutes every day as a practice by thinking about what happened during that day and how you reacted to it. If your reactions were good, thank God for helping you to achieve that. And if they were not, you can beg forgiveness from the Lord. And also, it is important to chant the name of the Lord so that you go to sleep on the lap of God. So if you practice all the things I just told you, you can cultivate noble thoughts, which will also sink down as good samskaras, which will again reappear as good thoughts. There's one more thing I would like to discuss. I get asked, are we all by ourselves doing all this sadhana? No, my dear children, you get immense help from Swami and God all the time. As a sadhaka goes through the plane of the physical into the plane of the intellect, ultimately to the cosmic mind, and finally to the absolute self or God. As the aspirant ascends the spiritual path, divine energy descends and meets the aspirant and helps him in the onward movement to endow him with success. This energy, that is why we say, avatar descends for souls to ascend. This energy that aids us with all our spiritual progress is what is called grace. But one thing I must tell you, children, before you expect God to help you, you have to make an earnest effort, like we learned in the first workshop. Your self-effort is the most important thing. It is only then that Swami, God will also help you. That is the most important thing. That is why Swami says, take one step towards me and I will take 10, 100 steps towards you. Just look at the next slide, which is the final slide. Swami says, show me your availability. I will give you the ability. Thank you for listening now. Japa you can do in any position, but meditation you can't stand and do.
Okay.
Because if you reach the higher levels, you are liable to fall.
Okay.
Yeah, you can stand, but there's also walking meditation, there's flowing meditation. There are so many things you can do, but just standing and meditating is not an advisable thing. You can sit on a chair with your feet slightly divergent so that you'll be steady, because Patanjali talks about sthira sukhamasana. That is, you have to be steady, upright, and comfortable. So, or you can sit on the floor and a few cushions and meditate. Visualization is a very important faculty. What starts as visualizing becomes a reality. People don't realize that. We teach even Balavika's children how to visualize, which is a very, very important faculty. If you can imagine a flame, my son, you're absolutely lucky. And if you can keep it still for a little while, but then don't forget, the one I say is the flowing light. I don't use the flame being taken to every part of the body. Through experience over the years, we have found out that people find it easier to do the flowing light for Jyoti meditation. So you have to, if you can visualize a flame by closing your eyes, sit in meditation in the right posture, and if you can visualize in the midpoint between your brows, a flame, as though you're looking at it from a couple of inches within your head. Right now, I am doing it. I can visualize a flame, yes. And then let it slide down to the lotus of your heart in the middle of your chest. And then from there onwards, once the flower fades away, let the flame grow bigger and brighter. And imagine it like brilliant white lava flowing everywhere, filling your head and your tongue and your eyes and your ears and everything. You can do that, yes, if you can visualize a flame without having a flame in front of you. Yes. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.